Kind of scripted. Hey, it's kind of scripted. What's happening with you, world? This is Willie Barnes bringing y'all the hashtag kind of scripted webinar series where we bring to you experts in a variety of different fields, right? Today we have a very special guest that we're going to talk about some information that I know for a fact. For whatever reason, we don't talk about this stuff often, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. But as you know, I am Willie Barnes Jr., author, founder, entrepreneur. And as you know, my mission, my purpose out here is to really instill a mindset of purpose, passion, and authority in the community. So we have the courage to go out here and create our heaven on earth. So as you know, we got the book out here. It's a free book. You can find it anywhere. Click the link in the bio, visit link anywhere below. But you know, we have my first book out, Manipulate Home Ownership, Your Cash and Resource Machine. Today, we're not going to talk so much about the book. However, we are going to talk about something that I truly believe is of great value to homeowners that I know there's not enough conversation behind. And that's actually the cost-saving benefits behind using solar energy, right? Like it is 2020. Solar energy has never been bigger, and it's only going to get bigger, better, stronger, faster. It's our future. It's our present and our future. And so, you know, I really want to, again, provide information to just inform us and educate us on what is solar and how it can benefit us. And today, we got my guy, Vernon Sutton. He's actually the VP of Sales of One Stop Solar. He's going to tell us a little bit more, you know, about this whole solar world. Because again, I don't know much about it. But he does. He's the man out here in these streets. He's going to tell us he's going to tell us a little bit more about it and, you know, what we need to do in order to put ourselves in position. And of course, you know, at the end, we'll make sure that there's an opportunity for anybody who's interested to get in contact with Vernon. So you can see if you all actually qualify to receive some of these cost-saving benefits. Hey, so Vernon, I want to say thank you, bro. Thank you for, you know, taking the time to join the Kind of Scripted webinar series, man. I want to say thank you. How you living?
No problem at all. Yeah, and thank you for the amazing introduction. Very rarely do we get to feel as blessed and loved, and you know, working with someone like you always gives me energy. You know, I feel like we can feed off each other, and even though we've known each other maybe only 3-4 months now, every time we work together, we link up. It's always a good time. It's always a good vibe. So it's definitely appreciate that introduction.
For sure, bro, for sure. The pleasure's mine, and I appreciate you, man. So before we get started into this whole, you know, solar talk and digging too deep, I really like to let everybody know who we're talking to. So if you could tell me a little bit about where you're from and a little bit about your background and what you're passionate about.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So basically, I haven't been in sales for that long. When you compare myself to people who have been in the industry, whether it's solar or another sales industry, I have grown up kind of, between the U.S. and actually Brazil for a lot of my life, which gave me tons of benefits, not only, you know, as a person, helping me speak different languages, but also helping me in the career environment and the work environment as well. For the past 10 years, not past 10 years, I'd say 12 years, I've been working here in the U.S. And for the first 10, I was in about finance, in the finance industry. And while it was something that paid the bills, I was able to grow, and I traveled and saw the world just by having corporate customers in countries like Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, even been to, you know, Switzerland for work. At the end of the day, it wasn't something that made me happy because it was just mindless work on a daily basis, making sure, you know, all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. So about 2.5 years ago, I decided to get into sales because even though it was something I was always afraid of, I said, you know what, why not? This is truly an opportunity that depends only on myself, only on, you know, what I can produce and what I can do. And you know, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for that matter, could go both ways. I started in the timeshare industry. And in case you don't know, Willie, timeshare, you know, obviously there's a lot of negative connotation to the name timeshare, but at the same time, there are people that benefit from it quite a bit. And the concept of timeshare is actually pretty similar to solar. It's basically you're prepaying for your vacations so that you don't have to pay for them for the rest of your life. Now, the main difference is timeshare necessarily isn't for everyone. So when I was in the industry, I figured, felt like I was fighting a losing battle. Obviously, it was difficult, but at the same time, I don't believe in, selling something to someone if it's not right for them. And the problem with the timeshare industry is that's basically how it works. All they want you to do is sell, sell, sell. Maybe a quarter of the people that I saw actually benefited from timeshare, but not everyone. So I got the opportunity actually to get into solar. Maybe I was 6 to 8 months in timeshare, and it piqued my curiosity because at the end of the day, I thought, this is somewhat similar. It's technically you're now owning your power versus renting your power. You're putting an end date to your power bill, but at the same time, the biggest difference between timeshare and solar is solar has zero cost out of pocket, obviously for qualified homeowners. Now, that's really what kind of got me into the industry, and I've been working in it for about 2 years now. Learned everything I could. I started at a large corporation, the first or second largest in the country, something like that, and learned a lot. But at the end of the day, I still felt like I wasn't able to help people. So that's why, with One Stop Solar, I got the opportunity to jump on board and, help develop the sales team and get things started. And now I truly feel like, not only am I able to help these people, but I'm able to help my customers. I'm able to help the other sales reps so much more because there isn't a big convoluted corporate structure that has a headquarters in a state that's all the way across the country, when now, we can actually do things in a truly local way and truly put the customer first. Because that was my biggest issue in the sales industry is I need to make sure that I can sleep at night, that I know that I'm taking care of people, and that I know whatever I sell them isn't going to come back and, bite them in the behind.
Oh wow, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. I did not know that background about you, man. You're out here, work in the world, bro. Work in the world. I had no idea.
Yeah, just trying to, at the end of the day, I feel like, and I'm sure you get this feeling too, a lot of people do. I feel like I've lived so many different lives at this point. So it's good to bring all that experience together. But at the end of the day, what I love is truly helping people. And if I can figure out a way to get paid for helping people and putting more money in people's pockets, to me, that's a win-win. And that's the kind of salesperson I am, is I'm a win-win scenario kind of person. I don't believe that for me to benefit, I need to take away from anyone else. If I can't benefit and also benefit this other person, then it's not the right product. It's not the right service. It's not the right sale to begin with.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's so big. So the reason I really am intrigued by solar is because, again, it's 2020. It almost seems like we're in this Jetsons world now, right? But solar is the most abundant energy source like on the planet, and with emerging technology, you've hit on it that it seems like there's a lot of benefit to homeowners because that's what this is for. As you saw at the beginning, we really look to empower homeowners. It seems like there's so many benefits when it comes to solar. And you said something about, actually owning your energy and not renting it. Like, that's such a powerful statement. I don't even know where to start on that, but maybe we'll let you get into that. But what is the biggest misconception when it comes to solar?
So the biggest misconception, at least I would say up to maybe 2 years ago or even last year. And at this point, it could still be the biggest misconception, to be honest, is the fact that people think that they have to pay money out of pocket in order to be able to benefit from solar and get those savings. Now, I could list, various other ones, but I think, even though a lot of people are starting to see that, hey, wait, I don't need to pay anything out of pocket for solar, so why don't I at least look into it? A lot of people are starting to realize that, but there's still a lot of people who don't necessarily know that, hey, they can go solar. They can completely eliminate their power bill, save for maybe the customer charge, which is the main thing that everyone needs to be aware of as well. Is the power company is always going to have an extra, 10 bucks, maybe 15 bucks a month that they're going to be charging you. That's just to be connected to the power grid. But people aren't realizing that, hey, they can completely wipe out their power bill, maybe pay 10 bucks to the utility company. But at the same time, they're paying a solar bill that's 50, sometimes $100 under what it was. We see average savings for solar, depending obviously on roof exposure and a few other conditions, roughly at about 20 to 40%. So if we go right in the middle, 30%, an average $200 power bill, we're going to be able to drop them down to about $140 a month. So, wow. And that's all for no cost out of pocket. So that's the biggest thing when people realize is, number one, there's no cost out of pocket. So the second biggest misconception I would say is maybe that it doesn't work properly. And that's because of, some companies that have tainted the industry, unfortunately, and haven't been able to not only sell a good product, but also provide good service to their customers.
Wow. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. And that's out there in any industry, right?
Yep.
Give it a bad name. But I mean, if it's saving an average of, let's just say an average of 30% on homeowners' electricity bill, if it's no money out of pocket, why don't we hear and know more about it? Like, why? It's 2020. Like, that's the thing that where I really don't, the only time I hear about solar is when I hear a sales guy talking about it, not, why isn't it just common knowledge? Why isn't the information out there? What's keeping people from really tapping into this opportunity, in your opinion?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, to be blunt about it, Willie, the fact is the information is out there. It's just people who are unaware aren't necessarily going to be looking, for this kind of solution. People who don't know that solar is no cost out of pocket. People, at this point, I'd be hard pressed to say to someone, hey, have you heard about solar? And then tell me no. Everyone knows about solar, but the problem is there's also so many different kinds of solar. It's not just solar that provides energy, which is specifically called photovoltaic solar panels, but we also have pool heater solar. So basically, it's a screen that someone installs on their roof with some PVC pipe attached to it. It pumps up pool water, it heats it up, and pumps it back down. So you say solar, people think it might be that. People could think about a solar hot water heater, which basically, uses the heat and also the UV rays from the sun in order to heat the water on the roof and send it back into the house as well. So there's so many different kinds of solar energy products, and there's so many options for homeowners, for customers, for people who even look into it, that sometimes it's even daunting just being able to process that amount of information, knowing who to trust, knowing who to count on, knowing who's telling you the truth and who's just trying to blow up a bunch of smoke, up that place in order to get a sale. And, next thing you know, you'll see a lot of people, they get into the industry, they'll sell some systems, but they're doing it for the quick buck to get out. That's why the industry's been tainted to the point that it's gotten to, is because at the end of the day, there's no accountability. And, any company can just up and start their company and start selling solar. But, realistically, there's not much control when it comes to, consumer protection and whatnot. So that's why we take it upon ourselves to, first and foremost, always educate potential customers, make sure they have the knowledge necessary, to the point where even if they don't go with us, I'm not going to be upset about it. I just want them to make sure that they're not getting, taken advantage of by another another company or another salesperson. It's simple as that.
Absolutely. So tell us, why does solar, we know that when it comes to cost benefits, there's cost savings. We said earlier that can save an average of 30%. And why is solar important? We were at a golf event, and you were asking people, do you care about the environment, right? What did you mean by that? Why does solar matter when it comes to the environment? Because I believe that's a topic in 2020 that's also a little important.
Yeah, it's crazy that you mention it, because not to say that everything we're going through right now, coronavirus, is a direct result of environmental issues or global warming or anything like that. I'm not enough of a scientist to actually, have a firm opinion and believe, whatever all these theories have been saying. But when it comes to the environment itself, like you mentioned, I was asking people, hey, do you love the environment? I do that because at the end of the day, anyone who's alive and wants to be alive and happy and healthy, they're probably going to love the environment, and one of the things we realize is fossil fuel is literally being dragged up from the ground in forms of natural gas, petroleum, coal. At some point, we're going to either run out of these natural resources, or these natural resources are going to have polluted our environment to the point that make it uninhabitable for us as humans. Now, when we have something like solar or even wind energy, any kind of renewable energy that doesn't waste or burn a resource and is a never-ending energy. Let's look at it simply. The sun's not going away until maybe millions or billions of years in the future when it has a supernova. We'll be long gone by then. So at the end of the day, it's a free energy source. So when you talk about the environment, and obviously we all see photos on Facebook of the turtles with straws in their noses and everything going on. We truly have an opportunity not just to make a better choice for ourselves, our family, our home, but that choice also saves us money. That choice doesn't cost anything out of our own pocket. And that choice, once it's paid for, literally gives us free energy for at least a total of 35 to 40 years. Obviously, I'm not going to go ahead and say these panels last forever, because that would be a straight up lie. But these monocrystalline new panels have a rating of about 35 to 40 years. So that in and of itself tells you, if I pay for one of these things, even if I have payments for 15 or 20 years, that's still an extra 15 or 20 years of free energy that you get, less a little bit of degradation as well of the panels. So it's, at the end of the day, it's an option that's better for the environment, better for a homeowner, and better for the homeowner's family, friends, and for their home. So, it's kind of like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. The biggest reply I get when I talk to people about solar is, man, that sounds too good to be true. And the truth is, when people say that, it does sound too good to be true, because maybe only 1 or 2 in 4 homes end up qualifying and getting those benefits from solar. If your house has tree coverage, it's not worth it unless you're willing to pay to cut those trees down. If a homeowner unfortunately doesn't qualify for a solar loan, then at that point it's not at no cost out of pocket, because they can't get that financing. So it sounds too good to be true to most people, but at the end of the day, that's because in a way it is too good to be true, because it's a long process. I'm not going to talk to someone and say, hey, you want solar? They say, yeah, tomorrow the solar's on my house. It's a long process. The county could deny it. The power company could deny it for whatever reason. If the homeowner has electrical, upgrades in his house that he never got a permit for, that's a big no-no. So we can't do any work on a home that had electrical work done that wasn't permitted. So all these things kind of take into consideration. At the end of the day, if you're not willing to at least have an open mind and change, you're basically the reason that global warming is increasing and whatnot. And I'm not saying everyone has to go solar, but if you're not even open to the idea of it, then I don't want to call you any kind of names, but to me, the willingness to have an open mind is just a different ability. You can have an open mind without changing your mind. You just have to understand that something works. I get a lot of people that say, oh, well, those solar panels, the plastic in the solar panels are created using oil and petroleum, and they don't help the environment, this and that. It's like, well, let's put this into perspective. Do you really think the plastics in something that lasts 40 years isn't going to save enough money to pay for itself and then some, and also remove X amount of cars off the road? Because think about it, all the oil and natural gas we have that we use for our cars, that's never going away. But if you have a home with solar and you have a Tesla or any other electric vehicle and you're charging your home, you're charging your car for free, granted, as long as you have enough solar panels generating your energy. So you got free gas and a free power bill on your house. What more could you want? And then people say, oh, well, it's just as bad as regular fossil fuels. And the truth is it's not, because the plastic could be made from the fossil fuel, but it lasts 35 to 40 years. And then once that lifespan is done, it's simple. You can recycle it and you're good to go. So, yeah, sorry to get in a rant, but I guess a lot of people don't realize the kind of impact that that even going solar on their home could have on the environment. I mean, I've been solar here on my home for about, I would say we were installed in December of 2018. And, you know, I ran the numbers, and basically I think if you were to put it into environmental terms, it's enough clean energy to have planted hundreds, if not thousands of trees already. I don't get a power bill anymore. So it's great for the environment. And at the end of the day, it's not that solar is for everyone. Solar is a good possibility for maybe about 50% of the people, you know, as long as they have the good sun exposure and whatnot. And, you know, at the end of the day, people are going to be going solar regardless, because even the power companies here have their solar plants. The only thing is, would you rather pay for the power company's solar, or would you rather pay for your own that has an end date?
Yeah, and I think that goes right into a perfect segue into what you were talking about with owning your power instead of renting it. If you could explain that for us a little more, because I don't think this is a conversation that it's like, if you don't know where to start. You know, you don't even know where to begin. So what do you mean by renting your energy and owning your energy? What does that mean?
So the best comparison I like to give to it is, you know, if you're renting a home and you're owning a home, you know, why do people want to own their home? Granted, they're still going to have a monthly payment. And to be honest, when you add up the numbers, especially for mortgages, because mortgages are such long terms, usually 30 years, you're going to pay almost twice the purchase value of your home in interest and fees. But what's the good news? You're still paying a lot less than you would if you were renting, because by renting, you're never going to get rid of that bill. Owning, let's say a mortgage takes 30 years to pay off, but guess what? After those 30 years, you're done paying that mortgage. All you have now is your property taxes, right? Obviously, maybe insurance as well. But it's the same thing with solar. So, you know, right now, a lot of people have a power bill. They have no other option, especially here in Florida. Now, there's some states, New York, and I believe some other states that give you an option of power providers, so you can choose a different power provider. But here in Florida, we don't have any options. I know when I purchased my home, they didn't ask me, hey, Vernon, which power company do you want to pay? They just said, hey, you're a Duke customer, and that's it. So at the end of the day, we don't get a choice of our power company. We don't get a choice of paying or not paying the power. Obviously, during these times, we do have the luxury of going without paying for the power because of you know, everything coronavirus has brought on. But generally speaking, you don't pay your power bill, you don't have any power, and they will shut you off. So what I love about solar is everyone has that power bill, and everyone has the ability to own their power rather than renting it. Now, the true question is finding out if that ownership is going to be cheaper than what they're already paying. Because that's what, you know, One Stop as a company and, you know, our integrity won't allow us to do, is to tell someone, hey, you know, we'll sell them a system that only covers 70% of their power, but let's say it's $10 under what their average power bill is. Hey, this will cover all your energy. There's plenty of companies doing that. We'll lose that sale. I know I've lost plenty of sales because I couldn't compete with the power company. Sometimes the power company has an extremely affordable rate. That just means, listen, let's work on the power companies that are a lot more expensive, because at the end of the day, those are the people that we're helping. And if we can't help these people, we don't want to try. So when it comes to owning your power, it's simple. It's like putting a mortgage onto your power bill, or transforming your power bill into a electricity mortgage. And then that way, whichever term you choose for solar, there's, you know, from 10 years all the way up to 25. You can choose your term and have a fixed, low, predictable payment that'll save you money every single month. Now, granted, if a homeowner has enough money saved up, then his best savings will obviously be seen by buying a cash system, because at that point, they don't pay any interest. Even though our interest available is, you know, 2.99%, it's better to pay zero interest for anything in that matter.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so from start to finish, it sounds like I want to back up a little bit. At the end of the day, it's just worth having the conversation, is what it sounds like. Even if you have trees all around your house, even if you may if you feel like your electricity bill, you're getting a great rate, it's about having the conversation to find out what's available to you. Is that pretty much what I'm hearing?
That's a beautiful way to summarize it, especially because or I know but maybe the viewers may or may not know. A lot of companies who sell any kind of products have referral bonuses. So even if someone has a house that's covered in trees, at the end of the day, them understanding that knowledge could mean that, hey, they start talking to their friends and family that they feel that would really benefit from something like this. And if their friends and family have enough interest, end up going solar, obviously we can pay them referral bonuses. Every single solar company does this. This isn't a secret. So the best part about it is, even if it's not something that's right for you, it could benefit you in your life, especially during these times of uncertainty, with the economy and the job crisis we have going on right now. Hey, what does it cost you to spend 20, 30 minutes chatting about something, learning about something? And even if it doesn't work out for you, at least you can share it with your friends and family and possibly make money on that in the future. That's why I recommend everyone look into it. And also because, let's say we do have a tree or a home that's riddled with trees around it. Who knows, their power bill might be big enough to the point where it's worth it to actually cut those trees down and get them that kind of savings. So what we try to do is also, provide out of the box thinking solutions, not just the regular, hey, you want solar? Let's see if solar works out. It doesn't or it does. We'll do whatever it takes to truly help people in a safe, organized manner. But hey, if we can help, we're going to try to. We have some cases where we can build a solar pergola or like a solar carport for customers that don't want to put it on their roof. So, hey, instead of putting it on their roof, how much energy do you need? How much do you want to cover? We build them a carport on their driveway. They're good to go. So there's so many options with solar. And that's the thing, is people get afraid of talking to someone, especially because the industry has, like I said, been tainted by very aggressive companies and aggressive salespeople who really try to push solar in a way that's not conducive to good integrity and to sleeping with a good conscience at the end of the night. So that's why we try to take that educational approach. Our first job is to see if we can help people. If we can't, we'll teach you how it works. Maybe you have a friend or a neighbor or family member that could benefit from it, and you still benefit from it by getting that referral bonus.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I know you have to go, so I'm gonna wrap it up. What are some cues, I guess, homeowners can look for to see if they may be a good candidate, for solar? What are some things they could be looking for? Obviously a high power bill, one, but
Well, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised because I about a month and a half ago, I met a homeowner, and he was actually completely over solar, over all these companies that came and knocked on his door and tried to sell him solar and were extremely aggressive and this and that. But he was interested in solar. He had his ideal savings. He had what he wanted from solar. Now, I didn't know that I could give that to him, but instead of trying to tell him, hey, you need solar, hey, you have to go solar, you need to let me in your house, let's talk, and let me try to sell you real quick. I said, all right, let's take a simple approach. What's your goal? He said, well, if I can save his power bill, just so you have an idea, Willie, was $70 a month average. So he told me, if I can save over $20 a month, then I'll look into solar and I'll probably end up going solar. Now, just so you have an idea, $20 a month off 70, that's pretty rough savings, right? It's hard to attain, but I looked over the numbers. I built a system for him. I got his power bill and kind of researched exactly what his energy consumption was. And obviously I gave him the best deal I could, because at the end of the day, I'm not in this just for them. I'm in this obviously because it does pay me, but at the same time, I'm getting paid to help people put more money in their pocket. So I gave them the best deal I could. Lo and behold, I can get them down to $45 a month. So I can save them $25 a month. Why? Just because I actually gave them the time, the attention. So there's no minimum bill that's necessary. But at the same time, obviously, the people that are going to see the higher savings are the people that have those bills that are above $250, $300 a month, and even higher. But what homeowners should consider when they're looking into solar to see if they're a good candidate. Number one is basically check out their sun exposure. Is their house covered by trees? If not, what sections of their house are facing south? They have good southward exposure on their roof. That's a great candidate. Even good east and west exposure. Those are good candidates as well, depending on how much they're paying for their energy bill. So another thing is also the condition of their roof. If the roof isn't in good enough condition, then obviously we'll probably have to have them re-roof their house before going solar. Now, the benefit is if for any reason they're not able to do a re-roof and claim it through their insurance, what we can do is actually finance a complete solar system and a roof for them, and sometimes even still save them money. So I actually have some homeowners who, actually one that just got installed last week out in Kissimmee, their average power bill was about $210 a month. I was able to finance not only their roof, but their solar system altogether for about $193 a month. And this is zero cost out of pocket.
That's big. So they got a roof. And
yeah.
so by having the conversation.
By having the conversation, literally. Just by having the conversation, they said, I don't think my roof is in good enough condition. And I don't have a claim with insurance. So, but I really want solar. What can I do? I called a buddy, Michael, over at Stratus Roofing. And, he went over there, looked at everything, and they were good to go. So obviously it's not every case that'll see savings with the roof and solar. But if we can break even with your roof and solar, that's a brand new roof and a brand new solar system, all for the money that you're already spending. And here's the good news. The power bill, unfortunately, inflation makes the cost of everything go up, not just the power bill. This is also a way to protect yourself against that inflation from the power companies, because the truth is, they're going to keep raising your rates, sometimes not as much as other times. But I know Duke Energy, for example, they sent last year was like 10 different bill inserts, like 10 or 11 different bill inserts, adjusting the rates or raising the rates. And that's just, preposterous in my mind. I'm like, how are you guys going to raise the rates this many times? So it's a way to basically protect themselves, have that fixed, predictable, lower payment. And another benefit, obviously, it could add value to their house. Now, because we have integrity, we don't lie to people and say, yes, it will add value. We're not, we don't have crystal balls. If the real estate market is going up, the economy is doing well, generally it'll add value. Obviously, if there's a real estate collapse, it won't. So kind of to summarize though, the good sun exposure on the roof, preferably south, east, or west facing. No tree coverage, good condition for the roof. Now, in most cases, a homeowner does need to have a credit score of roughly about 650 in order to qualify for solar financing. But we also do have cases that we can use something that's called a PACE program, or that stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, where they can actually use the value of their home in order to secure financing, regardless of their credit score. So, I think that's about it. Just good sun exposure, a good roof, decent credit score, and obviously the numbers have to make sense for them to go solar.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, if we take nothing away from this conversation, it's about having the conversation, right?
Yeah.
The worst that comes out of it is we get the information. I'm a firm believer in information changes, right? It changes lives, right? Knowledge is absolute power. And I think, especially with a topic like this, that matters in 2020 now more than ever, we may find that we can uncover an opportunity because it's something that we can be passionate about. I feel like we're passionate about a lot less, whether it's our favorite TV show or whatever it may be. But I think when we get some information that really matters, I think our antennas will actually be looking for, if it's not able to help us, maybe it's able to help our mom, grandmother, aunt, cousin, sister, brother, friend, be able to take advantage of an opportunity. Vernon, thank you, man. This was big. Yeah, I think this was very
Yeah, anytime, always available, and yeah, feel free to reach out anytime you have any questions, or if anyone has any questions on the video, they can feel free to reach out. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Vernon Sutton. There's not too many Vernon Suttons in Central Florida area, so.
all right, cool. Hey, we got Vernon Sutton. So if you or anybody wants to have the conversation when it comes to solar, and just again having the conversation, as we've said multiple times, to just find out if do you qualify, if you're a good candidate, and just again just get the information. Obviously, Vernon said he'd love to have that conversation with you. I want you to text SOLAR, SOLAR, to 407-559-8232. Obviously, it's actually below this video as well. And at the end of the video, you'll see that that number as well. But text SOLAR to 407-559-8232. Vernon, thank you, man, for your time.
No problem. Anytime, brother.
Hey, so this is Kind of Scripted. Y'all have an amazing day. Go be great. Peace.
Peace.